Welcome to today's episode of the Insurance, Life, and Everything in Between podcast. My name is Adam Brsan.
And I'm Chris Smith.
If you've yet to do so, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And if you love this podcast, don't forget to share it with a friend or colleague. We greatly appreciate your help and support.
So good morning. Welcome into another Dynamic Friday together. So I'm going to open up my thoughts on how not to fail in the fall. Going to turn it over to Adam after that, and then we'll continue forward. All right. So how not to fail in the fall. Remember, first off, that everything that you're doing right now, this month and this season of the year, directly impacts how the next season and progression of your career is going to go. What you do now directly affects your income in 9 and 12 months. So a lot of what you do, of course, it's depositing money into your bank account today, but it's really making a significant influence into the very close future as well. So how not to fail this fall. First thing I wrote down this morning is it challenging for some. Either you're on the free lead program and the production has to increase to get this, or you're purchasing your leads and you have to spend more to do this. But how do you not fail in the fall? How do you write more business in the fall? How do you achieve your annual enrollment goals? You got to increase your lead order. The more leads you buy, the easier this business gets. Increasing the quality of your leads might also be part of this conversation as well. There's nothing wrong with aged leads. There's nothing wrong with old leads. All people we see are old. All leads are old because they're old people. But sometimes you need to increase your investment by increasing the quality of the lead you purchase as well. A good quality set of leads will be far more profitable, significantly less stressful, and more efficient in your time management. I was taking a look at my schedule as I was walking back from dropping my son off at the bus this morning, and I was thinking, where are all the places in this calendar I can squeeze additional time to increase my AEP activity? Well, I want to increase my activity, but I also want to increase the lead spend and the quality of lead so that time is effectively managed. Next thing, how not to fail in the fall that I think is incredibly important is to make your goal a standard more than a goal. Like a goal can be brushed over. All right, I didn't hit it. No big deal. Let's move on next week. A goal can be forgotten. A goal can be diminished. But if it's a standard to your life and a standard to your business and it's unacceptable to miss it, then you're going to achieve it more often. Tony Robbins does hours and hours of content about the difference between a goal and a standard. Dial into that this weekend instead of watching some junk on TikTok. Remember, how not to fail in the fall is to consistently hit that $3,500 minimum production number, that $14K a month, which would give you $42,000 in production by the middle of December. You can make an average American salary in the next 3 months. I mean, if that isn't motivation to you, then maybe money isn't important to you. Maybe this industry doesn't make sense to you. But goals need to be upgraded to standards so that you don't fail this fall. Next note that I put down here this morning is to focus on pushing yourself into the uncomfortable areas of your business. The cross-sale, Medicare, senior centers, referrals. As we talked about this week over the course of our conference calls, imagine like you work for McDonald's. Oh, obviously you don't. You make significantly more money and have more freedom and don't smell like fried food when you come home. But imagine you did. And the company policy was to ask if do you want fries with that? Well, your company, which is you, needs to make that company policy to ask for some type of cross-sale. From grandkid policies to annuities, from cancer coverage to Medicare plans, from referrals to wherever you want to go, ask the extra question and you're guaranteed success this fall. Next point that I have this morning as we continue discussing how not to fail this fall is to increase your communication. I know I've said this before, but it's a guaranteed way to do better, make more money, and feel like you're more engaged in the world around you. I did a training with our appointment setting team yesterday. And I had their supervisor on. I had our 2 appointment setters on. And we just hung out for a minute, discussed, TV and life. And then we tackled some of the objections they face, some of the challenges as they learn more tech. We use Kixie to create multi-dialing opportunities to get you more appointments. And we talked through things. And they said to me after everything was done, besides the fact that how much they appreciate you for using them and giving them a job and having them work, and they take pride in the work that they do, but they also appreciated the human engagement that that conversation created. So increase your communication. Some agents on this call and on this live stream, I talk to every day. Adam engages with on a regular basis. Others I haven't heard from in a really long time, and I'm worried. Not in a micromanagement kind of sense, but in a human connection kind of sense. This is a very lonely business. You go out and see people you'll never see again in some cases, in areas you don't live in and or visit very often. You're on your own. Communicate, engage, connect with me, Adam, have a running partner with somebody in the agency. That human element helps us, especially in days that we really just want to give up on ourselves. Next is not increase, but to decrease. You got to decrease distractions. If you're going to thrive this fall, avoid failure this fall, you have to make sure that you are not your own worst enemy. Let me tell you another quick story about the summer. I am my own worst enemy in the summer, and that's a reality of having 4 kids and a soon-to-be wife that is off in the summer. But I managed to make enough money to keep it moving and grow and sustain and lead. But there was a situation in late July where I had a whole list of things I wanted to do, a whole list of administrative and management type stuff that needed to be accomplished. And instead of doing that, I went out shoe shopping for a trip that we were going to go on. Not just shoes, but like stuff for the trip. Own worst enemy, right? Like that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. That wasn't a profitable activity. That wasn't going to help me recruit and build and sustain and train. We can be our own worst enemies, and it's important that you manage your time and create those buffers and guardrails on when you're working, when you're selling, when you're recruiting, and then when you're enjoying social life afterwards. Next on the list is to defend yourself against doubt this fall by reminding yourself why you do this. This isn't easy, right? This isn't always fun. This isn't always the cleanest environment to go sit in somebody's home. Sometimes they're not nice to you over the phone, but you have to defend your doubt by reminding yourself why you're doing this. And remind yourself in that situation that you truly do have the power to buy time and print money. I talked to a few recruits yesterday through our recruiting platform, and a lot of people with an insurance license simply just want a $20 an hour salary or hourly wage and a base salary. I don't want that. I don't think any of you want that either. I think you want to be able to buy time, control the only thing in life that matters, and then print money when you need to. Talked to another agent of ours yesterday that needs to make $10,000. Like it's so important. It's words don't describe it. But guess what? There's a specific formula in place to make that kind of thing happen. You don't even have to guess. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to figure it out. I can create the formula. I've taught it and trained it. They just have to find a way to implement it. Defend yourself against doubt by reminding yourself why you do this. Another story for you. Adam, I don't know if you watched the Mets and Brewers game yesterday. It's getting close to it is the playoffs, so I begin to monopolize the TV way more often than usual. And whoever won the Mets and Brewers series was going to face the Phillies, which is exciting. Maybe I make it to a playoff game. Maybe not. But the Mets were down 3 runs into the 8th inning of that game. They hadn't scored a run in 16 innings, most of the last game and a majority of this game. If the Mets lost, the Mets were eliminated and were going to go home, and the Brewers were going to continue to face the Phillies in the division series. Guess what happened? The Mets won. They continued to play the game. They played the end of the game very skillfully. They didn't give up. And then when the opportunity was there and the closer showed weakness, they capitalized on it. Now, you're not a baseball player. You're not going to the division series. You can make more money than some MLB players, but the reality is still the same. Don't give up. Maybe you're walking into Friday today on our call or in the industry, and this week has just been 0, 0, 0. The Mets went 0 runs for 16 innings. Imagine having no applications for 16 days and then coming up at the very end with a victory. Totally possible. You also have to remember to respect the process. It's very important to understand in your first year in the business, it's incredibly hard, like the hardest it's ever going to be. How you're going to survive this fall, if this fall is your first year in the business, respect the process. The second year, maybe this is your second fall in the business, it gets a little easier, but it's important that you work just as hard as you did in the first year so that you never have to look back. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing big is built quickly. The best way for you to get where you want to go is to keep going. And this fall, I want you to keep going, regardless if this is your first, your second, or your 11th year in the business. Last point I have for you this morning on how to make sure you succeed this fall before I turn the call over to Adam. Problems that you face in life and in business always look worse when you're standing still looking at them. Like you just sit in your chair, you stress out, you panic, you can't eat, you don't know what to do, and you just stare at the problem. It looks bigger because that's all that you're focusing on. When you look for a way to overcome the problem, then you can get up and find your way around it. It's important that while our license says we are insurance producers, we are obviously small business owners, entrepreneurs, and at the heart of everything that we do, we're problem solvers. We're problem solvers at the kitchen table or on the phone when you sit with somebody and you find a problem or you create the problem and you show them the solution. We're problem solvers in this business as builders and business owners when you see a problem and instead of looking at it and dwelling on it, you look for a solution and you remain persistent throughout the course of this fall. So hopefully that connects with somebody today. We're going to continue to discuss it from 9:30 to 10 as well. But I'm going to step away from the screen, turn the call over to Adam as he shares some ground level field experience from his week in the business. Adam, the floor is yours.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, I always forget to unmute this mic. I think everybody should be able to hear me now. So yeah, I can kind of go through my week, talk a little bit about how it went. One thing we always talk about, I know Chris always mentions how if we do the same things over and over, we can expect the same results. And I mean, I've been pretty consistent with the way that I run my business out in the field, and it's been pretty consistent when it comes to the production. I mean, I would say at least like the last 3 weeks. I mean, I got to figure out something because I want to be writing more, but I've been writing right about 4,500 each week, like the last 3 weeks. So, and again, I mean, ordering the same amount of leads, working on having those appointments set, and in the end, I'm getting the same results. So, and I know, like I said, I know Chris has talked about that a lot, where he's kind of done things the same way for a really long time, and he always knows going in about what he's going to come back with when it comes to the premium. And every week though is a little bit different than the last. I mean, this week, I mean, I was really pushing for sales. I was really pushing to get in front of people. I didn't have a whole lot of appointments set. And I was really doing whatever I could to generate some business. Majority of it was off of leads. A lot of it, I don't talk a whole lot about follow-ups. They happen here and there. I had an appointment last week that I sat down with the lady, and it was one where I think it was actually like a direct express card. And the company that I wanted to write it with, they'll accept direct express and they'll accept it for like recurring payments, but you have to write the piece of business. They have to take that first payment right away. At least that's what I've discovered. So I ended up having to go back and I wrote it this week. So I didn't count it towards my production from the prior week. I counted it towards this week because it wasn't finalized until this week. And it was a pretty decent sale. I mean, it was close to a guaranteed issue. I can't remember specifically the health issues that the lady had, but I mean, she had some pretty major things going on that guaranteed issue or close to guaranteed issue was really like the only thing I could do for her. So yeah, like I said, I wrote her with a carrier that accepts the direct express, and it was $849 annualized premium. So that was on Tuesday morning. It was a good way to start off my Tuesday. Actually, it was one I was supposed to have a 10 o'clock appointment, and she called me at like I don't even know if it was 8 o'clock in the morning yet. It was like 7:45, 7:50, we have our morning call at 8 a.m. Central Time. So I wasn't on the call at the beginning because she had called me and I picked up, was talking to her, and uh, I already pretty much had the app done. And she told me that forgot she had a doctor's appointment she needed to get to. And I told her, well, let's just finish it right now. So I was able to finish it over the phone. We did like a text to sign sort of thing. And so it actually really saved me some time too. I missed a little bit of the call, but I mean, before that call was over at 8:30, I already had one app completed for the day. So not a bad start to my day. Uh, and then from there, like I said, I didn't really have a whole lot of appointments set. Was out running leads, was out door knocking leads, and I ended up writing one other later in the day that was just a referral that called me over the phone. So, so really, I mean, I don't do telesales, but I had two phone sales on Tuesday, and so that was my day on Tuesday. I think I ended up writing a little over 1,400 in premium just from those two apps. Um, Honestly, I mean, it didn't feel like a successful day to me. I wrote a few pieces of business over the phone, but out in the field, I didn't really have a whole lot of success. So, but you know what? I keep going. I don't go home until it's just time to go home. Usually, it's when it's dark, and I usually door knock leads until it gets dark out. Once it's dark, if I have appointments set, I'll work the appointments. But once it's dark, that's usually when I decide that it's time to quit door knocking leads for the day. So, anyways, back out there Wednesday, and Wednesday, same thing. Wednesday, my whole week, I kind of feel like was just a bit of a struggle. Wednesday, just looking at my calendar, I had one appointment in the morning that sounded very promising. It was actually a lapsed policy that was a referral from another agent, and I went and saw the guy. I thought for sure it was a sure sale, but the guy, his brother just kind of handles his finances. I don't know. This guy was like a little disabled. I need to get in touch with the brother. I think it will be a sure sale, but I need to talk to his brother to just kind of figure things out. So, and then from there, it was just a whole bunch of door knocking. The remainder of the day, I had a 4 o'clock appointment, a five, yeah, I had a 4 o'clock appointment that didn't really result in anything, a 5 o'clock that wasn't home, and then a 6 o'clock that I finally wrote another app. It was a little over 1,000 in premium with American Amicable. So my whole day Wednesday, like I said, I mean, it was a rough day, but I closed it out. I guess that's the one thing I could say is that I don't close down early and head home. Like I said, this was a 6 o'clock appointment. Um, at least wrote that one for the day. So a little over 1,000 in premium. So that put me at just under 2,500 within those first 2 days. Uh, and then uh, yesterday morning, I had an appointment with a husband and wife. It was actually a lead that was in like this gated trailer park facility, and it's one that there's just no way that I can door knock it, because I would show up to the gate, and then there's like a gatekeeper there basically that wants to know who I am. He wants to call the person. If I just show up like on a lead, and that guy's not going to be able to explain it better than I'm going to be able to explain it over the phone to the person, that they're just going to shoo me away. So Wednesday, I had that lead in my route, and I realized that it was this trailer park. I ended up calling the lead, and the guy answered. He goes, "Well, actually, I think my wife did that. Here's her number." He gave me her number. I gave her a call, and she said, "Yeah, come on by tomorrow morning." So I set up for like 9 o'clock in the morning. I dropped my son off at school at 8:30. 9 o'clock is good time to start my day out in the field. So 9 a.m. appointment, and then I had a noon appointment after that, and I'll get to that one too. But yeah, the 9 a.m. appointment. It was a husband and wife. The husband, he was on kidney dialysis, and the wife, she told me that she was like in really good health, just taking a blood pressure medication. So for him, I was planning on writing a guaranteed issue. And for her, I was planning on writing American Amicable. And so I went through the entire American Amicable application. The one thing I like about American Amicable is that they do give you the decision at the end. And if for some reason the decision is other than applied for, they let you know why. So I go through the whole app for the lady first, and it comes back as a decline. And I'm like, what the heck? How is this thing being declined? She tells me she's just taking a blood pressure medication. Comes to be that she actually had been prescribed 2 HIV medications. So went from thinking first day coverage, full death benefit to, well, looks like I'm going to be writing her guaranteed issue along with her husband. So, but the carrier that I've been using for guaranteed issue, I don't know. It's one that we don't really, I don't know if I'm just kind of testing it out. I don't think a lot of people have been using them yet or not, but anyways, their rates are really good on the guaranteed issue. And so I wrote her and her husband. They were like, what, she was 62, he was 59, I believe. And it was between the two of them, it was a little over 1,200 in premium. It was like 1,260, 68, 69 in premium. So not bad. I mean, it's a reduction in commission, but heck, I mean, I'd rather walk away with something than nothing at all. And it was still over 1,200 in premium. But it was a lengthy process because I wrote the one app with American Amicable, got declined, then just kind of had to go back to the drawing board. The e-app process with the carrier I was using, unless it's like a first day payment, the process takes a little bit longer. So yeah, it just took a little bit of time to get those apps done. And the lady, I don't know, we just talked a lot. I was there for quite a while. I was probably there over 2 hours, which I don't like being in a home for over 2 hours. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to get it finalized. So anyways, I had a little bit of time before the next appointment, really just enough time to get to it. So, and that was another appointment that I door knocked a couple days prior. And sometimes I can tell when the person's being upfront and honest, or if they're just trying to shoo me away. And she's like, yeah, I remember filling that out. She said, but I'm actually on my way to work right now. I'm off on Friday, or I'm off on Thursday. Can you come back? And I said, sure. She said, anytime in the afternoon. I said, okay, how about like noon? She said, yeah, that'll work. So I showed up yesterday, and this was actually a lead too, that it was a direct mail. I remembered the house, and she had also filled out a Facebook lead, a Facebook ad form. I bet probably 4 or 5 months ago. And when I went and door knocked it 4 or 5 months ago, she shooed me away. I couldn't get anywhere with her. She wouldn't let me in. She said she already had everything handled. And it was just, I don't know. It was kind of weird because she was not like that when I showed up a couple days ago. So I don't know if maybe she had a policy and it had lapsed or something or what. But anyways, was able to get in, got along really well, was able to help her. And that was 737 in premium with American Amicable. So that put me right at the 4,500 for the week. I ended up putting a route together. I had a whole bunch of leads in one area, and I put a route together. I bet I probably door knocked about 25 leads after that, and unfortunately, just didn't have very good results. Wasn't catching people at home, but same thing. I mean, I stayed out until it was dark and headed home. My goal, even after writing 2,000 yesterday, I mean, my goal was 3,500 for the day. I wanted to hit 6,000 for the week, but and that's why I kept going. I think it's good to set those big goals and do what you can to hit them. If I had just hit the 4,500 early and said, well, I'm satisfied with that, great. But you just never know. I mean, yeah, I stayed out, didn't really get any other results outside of that. But I've had plenty of other times that I would write business like that. Of course, door knocking leads and that. So sometimes you win some days, sometimes you lose some. To me, 4,500, yeah, it was a decent week. I don't know. I don't know. It didn't feel like a great week. Like, I guess that's a good thing if you can write 4,500 in premium and feel like you just had a pretty mediocre week. So, and that's kind of where I'm at. 4,500 for me, it's okay. I'll take it, but I want to be doing more than that. I know I can. And so that's really just kind of how it went for the week. Like I said, my main recommendation to you guys would just be to do what you can to get in front of as many people as possible throughout your week. If you don't have appointments set, that doesn't mean to just stay home. Treat this like a full-time career, which it is, and it's just about putting the time in. I was talking to one of my guys yesterday that's just kind of starting to get back out in the field, and I sent him like 60 leads that were local. They were leads that just I hadn't dispositioned yet, and they were probably anywhere from a month old to 5 or 6 months old. And I told him, I gave him some delivery notices, and I just told him, like, these leads are all in one zip code, 62 leads. They're probably within 1 or 2 minutes apart from each other. Like, you can really get a whole lot done. And so go ahead and put a route together and just door knock. Try to knock out as many of those as you can. And I mean, he even called me throughout the day. I was happy to hear from him, knowing that he actually went out and was working those leads, and I know he's going to get some sales off of them. I think he's going back to see some people today. I don't know how his results were yesterday, but yeah, when you have the leads, you just don't give up on them. If they're not dispositioned, get back out and work them. I have so many leads right now that need to be worked, and I don't give up on them. I continue to purchase new leads every single week, but don't let the older leads slip through the cracks. When you're in areas and you have a little bit of time, go out and run them. And just, we talk about doing whatever it takes, and that, to me, that's just really what that means. Doing whatever it takes to make some sales. My week, like I said, 4,500 in 3 days. I still felt like it was mediocre. I feel like I could have done better, but not bad results.
Share it out. We do this every single Friday. We won't be doing it in 2 Fridays. It'll be pre-recorded. But realistically, we're here every single Friday from 9 a.m. till 10, sometimes 10:15 on StreamYard, on Free Conference Call HD, on YouTube, on Facebook, all over the place. And of course, throughout the podcast network, audio as well. Adam, appreciate you being with us, being on and leading today. And let's go out there and make it a successful close to the week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Chris. Good luck, everybody. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back next week. Hop on the call on Monday if you have any questions or want the information on how to hop on those calls. Either shoot me or Chris a message. We'd be happy to assist you with that. Thanks again. And this concludes another episode of the Insurance, Life, and Everything in Between podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend or colleague. And if you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please leave those too. Any input is greatly appreciated. Thank you.